Hey guys, hey, are y'all excited? I am excited. Hey. Um, let me start by introducing myself per usual. For those who are my new subscribers, wherever you're watching this from, I have a YouTube channel, I have a podcast, I have posts to Instagram and Facebook and all those things. So welcome. I am Dr. Samaria M. Colbert. I am the founder of Kingdom Creative Counseling. That is where I'm currently located right now. In the great state of Greensboro, North Carolina. I have close to 20 years worth of experience. I always say over 16, but it is close to 20. I have written lots and lots of books, well over 80 books. My goal is 100 within the next 5 to 10 years, and I am going to meet that goal, hunty. Okay. This recording is being recorded in July. It will not post till September. So I promise you I will definitely probably well, I don't know. Maybe I'll be at 90 by then. I'm currently working on book number 84. Welcome. Um, I'm a licensed therapist. I just said I've been in the mental health. I just told y'all that, didn't I? Yeah. But I love what I do. And one of the things I do, even though what we're doing today is not therapy, I give you faith-based principles to bring about lasting change. And I love me some. Did I say that already too? Jesus, into way. So last week what we talked about was misguided loyalty, and misguided loyalty will help your mental health. Today I want to switch gears because I like to talk to um my entrepreneurs, and I want to title this one just some tips from full-time entrepreneurs. We'll see. I was just thinking maybe I'll rename it to something else, but as of right now, the theme of it, the subject will stay the same. And for those who don't know, I do this full time. Even though I'm in the human services field, you can be an entrepreneur, and it's not something we are taught in school growing up. Well, in school. I could talk today, I promise. But entrepreneurship is not something that we were taught or trained, and you have to kind of learn because when you're trying to go to school, you're being a clinician. You learn treatment. You don't learn the backside of things that keeps our business afloat. And so I want to encourage those who want to start their own private practice. And just give you some tips. I did do, I think, a series of teaching, and I may add this to the playlist. Um, of things you want to look out for. So I talked to you my testimony, and I'm not sure which in the order of things it came. I talked to you about how God gave me my own business. I think I talked to you about making that transition. So I'm not going to go over that. What I want to specifically focus on is so you made the leap and you want to continue to sustain yourself as a full-time entrepreneur. I'm going to go ahead off the bat, kind of get ahead of myself and say you do want to position yourself to have multiple streams of income. All right, say that with me again. Okay, pretend like we're together and we in church and they say, look at your neighbor and say, oh neighbor. You want to have multiple streams of income. Now, it is perfectly normal, you guys, that what happens is when you first start off as an entrepreneur, you can have multiple streams of income, which I do, but you may have it, which is kind of where I'm at right now, where it's one thing becomes your primary thing. It is your bread and butter. But as you continue to grow and go along, you add stuff to it. Like, for example, I have courses that are pre-recorded. I have books. I do speaking engagements. I'm not monetized on social media as of yet. I have a very small social media following, but when I'll get there eventually. And so I say all that to say is that even as a full-time entrepreneur, maybe you're like me, business is booming and life is good, you still want to position yourself to have multiple streams of income. And there is, yes, yeah, so there is a Bible verse, which I didn't know existed till recently, but it says Ecclesiastes 11:2, and I believe I'm reading it from the New Living Translation because I wrote the Bible and I didn't put the translation, but it says, "Send your grain across the seas, and in time, profits will flow back to you." That's another form of investing, or another form of being strategic about your profits. But it says, divide your investments among many, for you do not know what risks might lie ahead. That's another verse for multiple streams of income. And let me read it from, there's another verse that was a really, really good, another version. Give me a minute here. But it's divide your investment among, okay, so we said that. Let me see. I think it was a king. Give me 1 minute, y'all, because that was a really, really good version that gives me, okay, there it is. So Ecclesiastes 11, and that is verse 2 says, well, let's start with the 11 first one. Cast your bread among the waters, for you will find it after many days. But this is where it's a biblical principle, giving a serving to 7, also to 8, for you do not know what evil will be on the earth. And so it's basically telling us that you want to have multiple streams of income, and at minimum 8. Okay. At minimum 8. And you can, that's very easy. You can have 8 streams of income for one book that you've published, believe it or not. Between speaking engagements, podcasts, vlogs, if you want to get monetized on social media, reposting that same book on multiple platforms. Well, my books are available paper copy and digital copies. There's so many things that you can do. I say all that to say, when you make that leap to full-time entrepreneurship, don't just get stuck in one thing. Have multiple streams of income. And again, let me go back. It is perfectly normal to have maybe multiple streams that are still flowing, but you may have 1 or 2 that are really your bread and butter first, but you will still have to have a goal in mind of continuing to increase that. Now, let me kind of go back, because I got ahead of myself. I know I'm kind of all over the place. um, I am a practitioner, obviously, and this is my private practice. This private practice does pay me. I do get paid through insurances and private pay. My goal in starting is to have is to pursue my purpose and to help people. I did not start my private practice because of how much money I wanted to make and all that kind of stuff. I had to say that because when you're in the human services field and you're known as a therapist and you start talking about business strategies, people start feeling some kind of way. So I'm not going to do with my not no shade to coaches or other people. I'm not going to do how you make 6 figures and all this kind of, that's I can easily do that. But because I'm a practitioner, that's why I don't lean in that direction, because you don't want people to think that you're making a profit off of other people's pain, particularly if you're known for one area. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you are a preacher and you're only known for preaching, which is fine, nothing wrong with that, but you have other business ventures, but you're known for preaching, you don't always want to sit there and talk about 6 figures speaking it, because you see what I'm saying? It makes it seem like you're just money hungry. So don't do that. I'm not going to do that today. Okay. But I will say that there are some major benefits of being in private practice full time, and it's only been positive for me. And I gave you my testimony, which I won't do it again. I will again go back and watch these. If you're watching this via YouTube, I'm gonna put it on a playlist. I don't know how to do a playlist on other platforms. I'll put it in my playlist for entrepreneurship. Um, so let me disclose this. Right before I made that leap, I just had gotten, and I said this in the other one, I just got burnt out. Like, I was doing the absolute most, y'all. I was working full time at a community mental health clinic, and those are next to working inpatient. The step up is community mental health, and those tend to be a lot. And I shouldn't use the word hard, but the reason why you see a lot of turnover in those organizations is because it is sometimes it can be very challenging to work there. For me, it was God's grace. I was there for 12 years. I had an excellent work ethic, but I also had a great team that was there. We were supporting each other. And so, but it was still difficult after a while. And God will give you grace for your journey there. And I had to make that leap because I always still had a dream, no matter what I wanted to do, to be in full-time entrepreneurship. I think what I have to say, and full-time private practice, I think what I have to say, even though you may not necessarily be a practitioner, I think it will cross the lines into all different types of people who want to pursue purpose. Whatever it is. If you want to be a lawyer, you want to have your own law firm. If you want to be in ministry full time, ministry people should really set yourself up to have multiple streams of income, so you're not dependent upon, or you don't put yourself in a posture of having to manipulate people so you can get your bills paid, right? Your exit strategies is just as important. But I say all that to say I gotten really burned out. And I'm not gonna go over there again. Go back over the last one. It was really, really good. It was really, really good. So I'm not gonna go over that. And so I say all that to say, um, it was still just time, you know. But one of the benefits I can truly say, that's where I was going at. I'm like all over the place, y'all, today. Um, what has been a blessing to me is to get to back to a place of freedom. Like I said, I was working so many hours, morning, my clinic, afternoon, my business, on Saturdays, my business. I was still writing, I was still publishing. Um, I would take out time on Sunday mornings to go to church. There was a time I was never home, and literally I was home long enough to sleep, get back up. I gained a ton of weight, which I'm still trying to get off. Y'all pray for my strength in the Lord. I've lost some weight, but I need to lose a good 60 more pounds. But that came on because I was just always busy, 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 busy. And one of the benefits that I could say to being in entrepreneurship um is to be able to own my own time and set my own. Yeah, you still gotta, the bills still come handy. I'm not on auto pay on everything yet. But to be able to focus on my purpose and my destiny and still serve people, but not have it to do to the extent of being burned out at the deficit of me. Working all those hours, publishing, and then turn around, had to be a PhD student. Your girl can grind. And so I just want to encourage those who may listen to this. You can do it. I didn't think it was gonna happen, but you can. All right. I know I'm all over the place, but I just, we're gonna go with it. We just gonna go with how it's gonna go, okay? Um, so these are just other tips. It's not gonna be the same one I already produced for entrepreneurs, those who have made the leap or those who want to make that leap. Okay. And you can start planning now. So you don't have to wait until you're entrepreneur to get these tips. Start if you're the kind of your day job is paying for your night job and all kinds of stuff. Start planning your steps now so that when you get there, you have a plan. It's better to have a plan. Not having a plan is planning to fail, right? And I talked to you about your exit strategy in another teaching as well. Your exit strategy, your entry strategy, and anything that you do is going to be extremely important. So watch this. Thank you, Jesus. I think I ran with like 10 minutes, but that's okay. Thank you if you held on long enough. Sometimes it's just a rambling day, honey. It's just a rambling day, okay? But there are different levels to prosperity. I talk about the 4 levels of prosperity. One is not enough. One is just enough. One is more than enough, and the other one is overflow and in abundance. And I liken that to when God told Peter, "Let down your nets." After he had been toiling all night, and all of a sudden they had so many. He let down his nets as God had spoken to him, and then the nets started breaking with overflow. Had to get other people to try to catch all these fish. That is what God will do. So again, let me go over this again so we're clear. And then I don't have a lot of time. It's not gonna be a really long one today, but it'll be effective. Let's go over again. Ready? Not enough, just enough, more than enough, and overflow and in abundance. Now, let me give this tip for those who want to transition. It is better to plan your steps to exit, but consider if you're not at not enough or just enough, consider not moving into full-time entrepreneurship right away. Keep stacking and saving and building your repertoire, wherever your streams of income are. whether it be through seeing clients, a service-based business, a material-based business. Consider not making that transition yet if you're at not enough or just enough. Now, God can still sustain you at just enough, but you want to at some point be at more than enough. And I said this is the last one, but it bears repeating. Please do not compare yourself to social media, because sometimes social media is fake. Or you're comparing yourself. So Samaria be going to, I can go to the Coach store. We ain't going to the Gucci store yet, okay? We're not doing that. Okay. but my bills are paid and I can go to the Coach store and I can take me a trip. All right. Every now and again. So consider just making wise decisions. Sometimes I see people who jump out too soon, or we've been raised in church and we are faith filled and we just think faith. Sometimes y'all don't hurt the messenger. Sometimes our faith we justify foolishness. So I've heard people say, now again, if that's your story, no shade, no tea, no shade. Where I just left my job and I didn't know what I was gonna do. And now you just twiddling your fingers, like, oh my God, remember, God is a God of things that are done decently and in what order. And so he's a God of wisdom. And so don't just take that leap. Make sure you do your due diligence before, and don't leave a place prematurely trying to birth yourself out. Just wait on God's time. And I know it's hard when you got friends and people and other clinicians or other practitioners or whatever field of practice you're in, when they're doing it full time and you're like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I was never jealous of one of my other clinician folks that are doing it full time. I just was like, I was never jealous. I was congratulating them. But every now and again you think in the back of your mind, well, is it gonna happen for me? Sometimes people don't tell you the truth on social. Let me tell you something. I know somebody that was a full-time entrepreneur for a long time, and they were very like, I'm not gonna say how I feel, but they were just really weird about it. Like they were very almost like putting down people who had regular jobs, right? Um, let me I want to say it. So this individual was I think a part of some kind of I say a marketing level marketing person, right? And they were always doing like condescending things of people who have regular jobs, MLAs, we call it marketing, multi-level marketing, and they were always very condescending to people who had regular jobs. And they were always like, well, I own my own time, and this and bragging. And it's nothing wrong with being proud of that. Be proud of whatever business that pays you. That's fine. But it becomes a little bit condescending when you're trying to put other people down for having a regular job because you now are successful in being an entrepreneur. Like, you see what I'm saying? The individual now, that company ended up going under, that individual I know end up going under, and they end up having to go back and get a regular. Nothing wrong with that, but make sure you sow good seeds and don't look up down upon someone else because they're not where you're at. Is what I'm saying. Don't be snobby, don't be arrogant, be grateful, and then help people along the way, but don't come across condescending and nasty because you have a pillar or way of success now that other people haven't gotten to. Well, that makes sense. Come on, y'all. Amen. Amen. And I use that term lucidly because they just kind of rubbed me the wrong way at one time, and I was like, okay. And I was like, but why? Like, congratulations. I'm not mad at you. And I had a regular job. I'm not mad at you. Congratulations. Well, now the person had to get a regular job. And I don't know. I know what they do. And I'm not gonna speak on it. But you know what I'm saying? But they were being so rude and so like, and I needed this, and some of y'all, and it was just like, really? Don't do that. Sow good seeds. And so when you sow good seeds into other people, your stuff will continue to grow. So other things here is tips for full-time entrepreneurs. You have to make sure you maintain a routine. Maintain a routine. Now it's different because when you're working for yourself, you are your own boss, right? Now, as a clinician, I have no supervisor. Now I have my licensing board that I adhere to the clinical guidelines and the ethics that govern my profession. but they don't manage the day-to-day ins and outs of my business. They don't manage my finances. They don't make sure that, you know what I'm saying? They don't give me clinical oversight like that. I may have emailed my board maybe in the how many years have been in the years I've been fully licensed, maybe 2 times. Because I wasn't clear about one of the guidelines as far as telehealth is concerned. And I had to renew my license, and that was some years ago. And I wanted to make sure I was doing it the right way. And I couldn't get clarity from at that time I was working for my direct supervisor. So all that to say, you have to be disciplined about your routine. Because you don't have a supervisor, you don't have someone like over your head. If you're someone that's not disciplined within yourself, you may just have to, just learn about those things because you still want to continue to grow and evolve and change. But when you don't have someone that's kind of over you, telling you gotta be at work at 8 o'clock, uh, you just have to maintain a routine. For me, I only work literally 4 days out of the week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Then that may change, um, as my business evolves, but I just don't have any desire to work Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. And if I just don't have any desire to do that. So I gave myself a certain schedule. These are my office hours from this time to this time. On the days that I don't have to work at my private practice, because y'all know um I again do other things. How am I able to produce these books, and how am I able to do this course or do this or do that? The other days I dedicate that time to what I have to do on like Mondays and Tuesdays, like writing. One day of the week, 'cause I still do my own. I get caught up on paperwork and things of that nature. One day of the week, I will get caught up on emails because when you have your own private practice, you got all these contracts, you get multiple emails from contractors and people want to make referrals and all this you got so much coming at you at one time. And so you still have to be diligent about maintaining what your routine is based upon what you have to do. So maintain a routine. And it's very easy. Sometimes you can drift off when things are going well and not maintain a routine because you don't have anyone. And because it feels like, oh, I don't want to go to work today. Or I can't do that to my clients that I'm scheduled, but it's like, oh, I don't want to write today. Or, you can do something. Or I want to, you can technically give yourself time off. You know what I mean? So maintain your routine because the goal is to continue to grow even as a full-time entrepreneur. You don't want to get stuck at the fact, okay, my bills are paid. I can take a trip. I can get a purse every now and again. So that's it. Maintain your routine. The other thing is that when you're a full-time entrepreneur, is you still have to manage your finances. Please do not compare, because people think full-time entrepreneurship, we automatically think these YouTubers, because social media is so all-consuming nowadays. You see these people going and they going on trips and they got, the Maybach car and they doing the absolute most. That is not the reality for, I call it different levels of entrepreneurship, the ones who are just at more than enough. You can literally, it's not necessarily making money, is keeping the money that you made. So in anything you do, if you start writing, you start selling books, you start selling courses, you can make a ton of money, but you still have to manage your finances correctly because you don't want to be social media broke. You don't want to say, oh, I made $1 million, but you got $1 million in debt. Now, I ain't made $1 million yet, honey, but one day, you just, one day, but you can be so in debt. So you have to make sure like you watch your spending. I call it the Joseph effect. Remember, sometimes things may be hot for 1 minute and they may not be hot the other minute, right? Joseph, 7 years of prosperity, 7 years of famine. And so you want to maintain your finances to continue to stick to a budget, continue to save your money, but also things that are occurring as it relates to your business. For example, we still have to pay taxes, right? There's certain things that will occur. I told y'all in my last video how God spoke to me in 2022. It's at 2022. Yeah, and he said next year you're gonna move. So anyway, he told me to move into my office at the beginning of the year of last year, 23. That's what it was, and I did. I moved here, but when I came here, my other office was partially furnished. This office had no furniture in it, and then I realized the furniture that I had brought in my other office didn't fit here because this is like a double. This office that I'm in right now, you can't probably tell it, but it's double the size of my previous office. So my old little pieces of furniture could not fit anywhere in here. It didn't fit in the sense of like it fit like it was like Like it fit. It wasn't like too big, but it was too small. And so I had to furnish a whole office. That cost what money, not including moving, right? To a bigger office. That cost a little bit. No, it didn't, it cost a little bit more. So I had to take that into consideration. You have to watch your spending. Pay your tithes. Ooh, I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. Watch your spending, stick to a budget, but also you have to manage your finances. It doesn't cost a whole lot for me to renew my license, but this year I had to renew my license. So I had to kind of plan that out every year. Y'all know it's not the, the worst case scenario, but in renewing my license, I had to take continuing education units. And so I had to pay for those continuing education units. I don't want to just take a bunch of free ones. I want to take the one that's specific that's going to help me to continue to build my repertoire or build my myself as a clinician. I want to continue to grow. And so it didn't cost me a whole lot. It doesn't cost me a whole lot to pay for those CEUs, but after a while, they can start adding up. And so you start really being able to manage your finances. You have to manage your finances and don't just think, oh my God, I got this big check in the mail. Ooh. And then, next month you broke. You see what I'm saying? Make sure manage your finances as much as you possibly can. Even if you have to sit down with a financial advisor and sit down. For me, I told y'all in my last one that before I made that leap, I made a budget and how many minimum clients that I needed to see and maximum clients I need to see. And I didn't really take into consideration other streams of income because they're inconsistent. Sometimes you may sell a bunch of books, sometimes you may not. So I didn't really take that. I took what my main bread and butter was was my private practice, and I used that as my budget. And the other streams of income as they come, I use that as extra. Okay. So manage your finances. Watch your spending. So going back to what I said, I did my business budget, I did my personal budget, and I, for the most part, stick to that. All right. Budget the things that you need. So I tell myself every year I did not want to take that full-time leap into entrepreneurship and had to change my lifestyle. Now I do not have this extravagant lifestyle. I'm not going to the LV store and doing the most yet. I'm not doing the most, but there's certain lifestyle things that I need. Like I don't want to go from being, in essence, having the finances of someone who has two jobs and to go and being broke because I'm trying to be an entrepreneur. That wasn't me. I wasn't gonna leave then. So things I want to do in my budget is I still want to get my hair and my nails done, y'all. I still want to be able to, you know what I mean? I still want to get my manicure pedicure. I want to be able to take a trip once a year. Now, one day I want to financially be at a place where I want to take 2 or 3 trips a year. And I'm not talking about like work-related trips. Like you got to go to a conference or something like that. Cause that's a tax write-off. But I mean, like, I'm just not going for work. I'm not going to get my continued CEUs. I'm not going because I haven't traveled out of town to speak in a minute, but I'm not going, it's not work-related in any way. I just want to be on somebody's beach. I want to do that 2 or 3 times a year. I'm not there yet. One day I will be, but I can do it once a year. So when I come to managing your budget, it's like you still have to save and put things to the side, all those kind of things, for full-time entrepreneurships. Okay. Along those lines, just give me a little bit more. We're almost done, y'all. I know it's going to be real quick today. Have a plan and stick to it. And I do this every year, and I'm not going to do it. I don't think I'll do it this year just because I think it'll get kind of redundant. But I look at my yearly goals, my monthly goals, and my daily routine, and then I stick to my schedule, right? Every single day, I know what I need to accomplish that day, depending upon what's on my schedule. Now, for days that I'm booked out with clients, um, for days I'm booked out with clients, I just have to focus on that. But let's say Mondays and Tuesdays, I may have different things that I have to accomplish that day. And that's how, if you've been following me on social medias, I'm publishing books like that, like it's nobody's business. I'm doing other things that are related to what I want to do. But that comes with sticking to a schedule. All right. Point number 6. Oh no, I skipped over something. Um, I skipped over 4. I went straight to 5. So 4, and then we're gonna go to 6. Okay. Continue to invest in yourself and find ways to have multiple streams of income. And I did kind of briefly talk about that. Um, Continue to invest in yourself, not only just for those who are practitioners, your continuing education units, but do things, attend conferences, um, do things, read. That's one of the things I feel like it's been a blessing being a full-time entrepreneur. When I was a little girl, I was called my nickname. One of my nicknames, don't ever call me this in real life. Okay. When I was a little girl, they called me Bookie. And that's because I was a quiet little girl and I would sit for hours and I would read and read and read and read. I'm so blessed to, because reading feeds my soul. Just like writing is like my therapy, journaling is my therapy, but reading is my therapy. And so I have been able to get back to that little girl in me that just wants to read and learn. And so when I say invest in yourself, that means don't just invest in your business and the supplies and the things that you need. Buy yourself books. Do things that are going to contribute to your overall mental, emotional, and spiritual health and your knowledge. For me, when I read books, and God will give me topic to not only to write about, but really to feed my soul. It just helps me. It helps me to heal, to grow. And so for me, investing in myself looks like investing in books. And now, in reading. And that's okay, but how do you invest in yourself? It may be different. Now, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I be buying these glasses from Zulu. um, I be wanting to look cute and stuff. So I be shopping, but I'm sticking to my budget. You understand what I'm saying? I like my glasses, but I put out back with all that is that when we talk about investing in yourself, invest in things that are going to continue to help you to grow and evolve and change and have a growth mindset. Okay. And when you're a full-time entrepreneurship, the wonderful thing is, and again, this is not a brag, it's a blessing that you have the time to be able to grow. You're not constantly in survival mode, go, 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 go. You have a time to be able to take a step back, breathe, stop, breathe, and then think about it. Okay. Um, you still have to again, stay disciplined and don't allow people to waste your time. And this hasn't happened to me as of recent, but I had experiences in past where um people want to just, oh, you don't have a regular job, so you have to give all this time in the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like they want to just use your time up. Why don't you go here? Can you do that? Can you do this? Can you do that? Um to me, time is like money. I'm careful who I spend it on, you know. So don't allow people to think that just because you can be flexible with your time, just because you can be flexible with whose time, your time, that they are then entitled to it. The same way with money. Just because you are, people see you at a certain status does not mean they're entitled to your money, but they're not entitled to your time. And I've always been the type of person, you can't waste my time. I'm not going to do things, invest, it sounds mean, but I'm just going to tell you how I feel. I'm not going to do things I'm not going to invest in people that are not fruitful. They're not going to produce. If I can't help you, you can't help me. I'm not going to waste time in relationships that are not fruitful and doing things that are not going to produce anything. It's a waste of time. There's other things you can be doing with your time. So I'm going to say this again. Don't allow people to think that because you now are a little more flexible with your time, that you are entitled, or that they, are entitled to it. Okay? Right? Because where God wants to take you next, and it should always be a next. And where you stop at life, there's never a stopping point where you're just like, okay, I've made it there. No, you're going next. So God is preparing you now for your next. And the more you do, like I said, the next point is keep focused on what that next looks like and what the assignment is for your next. While you're preparing now, you'll be prepared when the promise or the next comes. Right? And so don't allow people to think, oh, you got all this time now. You don't got all this time. You're busy. You just can be more flexible with your time. Right? You can, like, I don't like I can sit down and have me a nice meal first before I start my day because I can flex my time. Okay. 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 Few more, then we're done. We'll be done for today, y'all. Have systems in how you will run your business. Have effective systems. Your clients, your people do not dictate how you run your business. The only person that dictates how you run your business is you. And if you're a practitioner, right? Not only is it you, obviously you adhere to your licensing board, but it's you. So no one can give you a sob story. I had someone reach out to me and I didn't. So I put on here, and as of right now, this is still in effect. Well, should I say this? Let me give you an example that I put on here that I do not offer couples counseling right now. I've done it in the past, and I said temporarily I'm not going to be offering that. People, please don't show up at my private practice, and you give me one name and you and your husband show up. Don't do that, right? And so I put on my website as of effective, I think it was like, January 1 or something like that, no longer taking couples. For reasons I will not disclose. Well, I had someone to call me and says, I don't understand. Why don't you accept couples? Can you please call me back to discuss this? Excuse me? I put on my website, I don't see couples. Very plain. I see children, I see families, and I see individuals with a focus on leadership. If I put on my website, I'm no longer seeing couples. I'm currently not seeing couples. I'm not going to call you up to explain to you what is already written on my website. Does that make sense? You have to have systems and standards of how you will run your business. And if someone else is not okay with that, that is up to them. Now, many, many moons ago, again, this is someone else. Again, these are not my clients. You don't know who these people are. There's no HIPAA violation. They're not my clients that you do. But I had certain paperwork. Now, the paperwork that I had that you fill out my business to fill out forms for my business are consistent with any mental health agency. There's certain things I need to know because as a clinician, there's certain things I'm automatically going to do. I'm automatically going to assess for safety. I need to know who you really are, your real name, your real address, your real insurance. I need to know all that for my safety and for your safety. I'm not going to meet with someone in the office and I don't know who you really are. There's going to be a consent for treatment. There's going to be, I have a social media policy because now I'm on social media. And so there's a ways to get in contact with me, and social media is not one of them. Okay, I need to have, because I do see people who are leaders in their organization, bivocational leaders. Some of them have been political leaders. Some of them have been really pastors and things of that nature. And again, not disclosing who these people actually are. And so I have a special form that is specifically for people who are, and I hate to use the word who are, I guess known, if you will, known. Now, I haven't seen like big time celebrities. I ain't gonna be that, but I say all that to say there's a special form that I fill out so that makes these individuals feel comfortable that I am adhering to HIPAA and confidentiality. So I put that in my paperwork. Okay. About HIPAA confidentiality, and if it makes you feel safe, right? Because I'm gonna do it anyway. I ain't losing my license for nobody. If it feels safe to you, you can have me to sign, or I will agree to sign a non-disclosure form. Doesn't matter. A non-disclosure form. It's the same thing as confidentiality. Okay. So anyway, the individual contacted me and did not like the forms that I had you fill. Now these forms are not difficult. You read over them, you sign. So they called me, left me a voice message and says, in my last office, I didn't have to fill out all these forms. This is too invasive for me. I don't care what you did at your last therapist's office. And I mean that. When you come to my office, these are my forms I want you to fill out that are consistent with a mental health clinician in this area. And at that time, this is years ago. So if I've been in the mental health field for almost 20 years now, this is probably maybe 8 years ago. So they want to call me up to have a discussion about my forms. My forms are non-negotiable. So no, I'm not calling anyone back. So you could tell me that my forms are too evasive, because It's literally the same form that you got to fill out with a little bit more disclosure when it comes to it's the same form that you got to fill out when you go to the dentist, when you go to your primary care physician. Like, you see what I'm saying? You're not going to go to your primary care physician and say, "Hey, I don't want to fill out my correct address, but I want to use my insurance," because it'll be a drawback. So instead of saying, "Oh, I don't," maybe I'm not changing my forms. What? To accommodate you? You either fill it out or find someone else. The point I make with all that is that when you have system in place, you don't have to constantly explain to people why you do it. Because it's not evasive. There's nothing wrong. It literally is consistent with uh, what is expected in this particular area for a clinician. That's it. And I haven't been in the field at that time for years. I knew what I was doing. I'm not going to entertain calling you up and I had to change all of my forms that everybody has to fill out because it was a strong no. So, so anyway, so that's that. And I do have a policy where you have to complete your information 24 hours prior to your appointment. So we make sure that we have everything in place. So when you're in a tips for a full-time entrepreneur, when you have systems in place, because remember, no matter what business you're in, service business, if you're just doing t-shirts, if you're selling a product or a service, that one person wants to get their needs met. They don't see other people or how busy you are, or that fact that they don't see it because they're trying to get their needs met. And again, it is not their responsibility to understand the full scope of your business. You just have to make decisions and policies and procedures based upon the totality of what you have going on. Right. And so one person's gonna be like, I don't want to, but no. You're not the only person calling me. So I can't change, what I'm saying, to accommodate one person when I got things to do. Okay. All right. Continue to have a growth mindset, whatever that looks like to you. Don't ever get stuck and stagnant. Continue to have a growth mindset. What do I want to learn? And this year it's going to be different from next year. How can I set myself up for the next door that God is going to open up to me? What do I need to learn and grow in this area so that I can be effective and efficient in this area? I've been in the field almost 20 years and I still want to get better at what I do. I do. I want to learn more. I don't want to sit in my role and say, "Oh, I'm an expert now." Like, I don't want to do that. Why? You don't want to get to a place where you're just like, "Oh, life is boring now." So what I want to do now, I'm transitioning a bit, not my practice yet, because I'm still in practice of teaching, training, and developing other people to be great in what they do. Have a growth mindset. Be clear about your assignment, who's called to and who's not called to it. We waste time and we waste energy. And I've said this before, so I don't know, there's no need to repeat it. We waste time and energy and fruitless relationships. We waste time and energy trying to, when we're not clear about who we are, and we're trying to bring other people into a space and we are not clear. Okay. Woo. All right. A few more here, then we're good to go. Actually, only 4 more, then we're done. Don't do what you do for the money. Do it for the purpose, and the money will come. Um, do it for the money. Don't do it for the money. Excuse me, I just said that. Don't do it for the money. Do it for the purpose. The Bible says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." I do what I do. And don't get me wrong, it feels good to be able to be in entrepreneurship full time. It really, really, really does. I'm not going back for nobody hunty. Not by, Shabbat. But what really drives me is I want to see people healed. I want to see people whole, and I want to see them set free. I want to. When your goal is excellence and when your goal is to serve people and you're not motivated by money, all blessings will come. Again, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Another one is follow God's instructions. There is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end leads to destruction. There's so many areas in my life where I didn't know what I didn't know. I said before, I just follow God's instructions. God will give you instructions. See, everyone talking about sin, and there's nothing wrong with that, and grace, nothing wrong with that. But God will give you instructions concerning all areas of life, relationships, uh house to buy, who to marry, where to take your next. I just can't even begin to tell you what God did for me in my business. I remember one time he told me, Samaria, I need you to go here. I need you to connect with this person. I need you to go. Just follow God's instructions. And believe it or not, it's disobedient to not. It's amazing. It's amazing how we want to operate in our kingdom assignment, in our kingdom mandate, but we don't want to follow the clear instructions God gave us. I just be sitting back like, oh, okay, hey, follow. God will give you instructions concerning your business. He gave Solomon instructions concerning the kingdom that he had to be a part of. He gave Joseph instructions concerning what he needed to interpret. He gave Daniel instructions. He gave Isaiah instructions. He gave instructions. He'll give you a strategy. He gave the widow woman instructions. He gave Elijah the prophet instructions. So everything that you need, and this is not just church and shout. He gave them instructions concerning their life and their ministry and their mandate. Just follow God's instructions. 12, you're not going to be able to grow in any area of your life. I know y'all not going to like me if you're not a giver. You have to be a giver. You have to be a giver. So I'm a tither. In my church, we do we call it a priest offering called the teruma. Um, but I am truly blessed and sustaining because I am a giver. You may not be able to give millions of dollars and be $1 billion giver right away, but set that in your heart to be so. But be a giver. I still believe in tithing. I don't believe you can truly walk into your kingdom without and you're not a tithe. Truly walk to, you can't be stingy and then want to grow. And there's different types of seed. There's time. There's what you speak forth out of your mouth. There's connection that you have. That's a seed, but money is a seed. Okay. And don't compare your journey to someone else's. I recently, and I'm closing on this, I had a dream about a colleague of mine. In real life, this individual is very, very well known, and I haven't seen her in years. But in the dream, we walk up to her, we get caught up. Hey, how's it going? And hey, what's going on? Hey, Samaria. And we got caught up, and she was doing fine. I was attending the event, but I didn't have a name attached to myself. This individual is world renowned. And so as I was kind of waiting for the event to begin, and I started in the dream, I saw her going around with her staff and getting things together, trying to get this event going on. And in the dream, I turned, and there was a guy who was, I guess, over the event planning, and he said, "But yeah, they haven't even put a deposit down on this event. They haven't put a deposit down on the event." And I won't tell you how much. I'm gonna skew the details just a little bit. And so I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened." He said, "Yeah," and so they had already attached their name to this particular building, and the company didn't want to look bad by saying, "Hey." And so I said, "How much do they owe you?" He said, "The whole amount," and he gave me the specific amount. And that's the part I'm not going to give you out loud what the amount was. And he told me it was like a couple $1,000s. And I said, "Dang, I'm so sorry." And I said to them, but just let me know after the event is over. Whatever they haven't paid, I'll go ahead and pay it. Okay, I'll go ahead and pay it. Don't talk about it. Don't tell anybody. I'll go ahead and pay it." And in the dream, sometimes when you have dreams, you automatically know things within the dream. I had a dream. So in the dream, Lord was telling me they had a name attached to themselves. But don't get caught up in titles and positions, because just because someone has a name attached to themselves doesn't mean they have um the prosperity they claim to have. So in the dream, I automatically knew that they were using this event to try to attract people so they can get people to give, which is emotional manipulation. You prophesying for money so they could build their kingdom. And then the dream ended. And the Lord began to minister to me. He said, "Samaria, don't compare yourself to other people. Don't get caught up in what you see." Because if this is what he said, y'all, if it's God, he will fund it. If it's you gotta fund it. And so you don't want to use people to build your platform, your building, your ministry, your mandate. You don't use people for that. When it's God, he pays for it. And you're using your gifts, your talent, and your ability to build up people. So I didn't have a name. and I wasn't known. But I had the resources to fund the kingdom because my heart was right. It's don't compare yourself to other people because you're comparing yourself to other people, and all you see is the external. Some of these, mm, some of these people put on these big old platforms and they're trying to get who's who and who's who. And it's not because they're trying to do ministry. They're trying to raise money. And that's why they got these big prophet coming in town because they're trying to prophesy over you for emotional manipulation. They want your money. But when you are in a God's assignment for your life, He's going to fund it, and you will be a kingdom. And you don't have to play games and run and do the back office stuff and do the most and put yourself in a bind because you got to fund what you start. Don't compare your journey to other people. When it's God, and I'm gonna say this again, when it's God, He will pay for it. When it's you, guess who's gonna pay for it? Ding ding ding. You gonna pay for it. All right, y'all. Dr. Samaria Colbert. I have written lots and lots of books. Okay, and I did write a book called The Business of Leading. Uh, and another book called Let Down Your Nets about God's supernatural ability to cause your business to grow. And I will post a link to those below. And of course, my free ebook is available. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you are located in the state of North Carolina, so you can get here, www.kingdomcreativecounseling.com. Of course, you can request speaking engagements, get all my books at www.samariacolbert.com. I have training courses as well. Those training courses are for clinicians. I also have leadership courses. Go to www.trainingchristianleaders.com. But if you go to my main website at www.samariacolbert.com, all of that will be there. Okay. All right, y'all. We're back in the day. Another time, another banger, y'all. Bye.